Well, good morning, everybody, and thanks for joining us for worship today. The weather is a little precarious outside, but it's always great to gather together and be in the Lord's house. So thank you for your presence here today. If you're watching us online, welcome to you also, and thanks for joining us. This is the Antioch Christian Church in Decatur, Illinois, and if you're not from nearby, welcome. And if you are from nearby, I encourage you to join us on Sunday morning, 9 o'clock for more traditional worship and 10:30 for this contemporary service. So every Sunday almost, I endeavor to preach on the same stories that the kids are learning in the children's department. We travel through the pages of the Bible together in about a 4.5-year cycle, and once in a while, every 4 or 5 weeks, they do a review, and then we do something different. But today, we are looking at another parable that Jesus taught and told, and so the kids are learning the same story that we are learning today. This is commonly called the parable of the talents, and it's found in Matthew chapter 25. I'm going to begin to read the text this morning in verse 14, and I believe this is the New International Version that I'm reading from. Again, it will be like a man going on a journey who called his servants and entrusted his wealth to them. To one he gave 5 bags of gold, to another 2 bags, and to another 1 bag, each according to his ability. Then he went on his journey. The man who had received 5 bags of gold went at once and put his money to work and gained 5 bags more. So also the one with 2 bags of gold gained 2 more. But the man who had received 1 bag went off, dug a hole in the ground, and hid his master's money. After a long time, the master of those servants returned and settled accounts with them. The man who had received 5 bags of gold brought the other 5. Master, he said, you entrusted me with 5 bags of gold. See, I have gained 5 more. His master replied, well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful with a few things. I will put you in charge of many things. Come and share your master's happiness. The man with 2 bags of gold also came. Master, he said, you entrusted me with 2 bags of gold. See, I have gained 2 more. His master replied, well done, good and faithful servant. You've been faithful with a few things. I will put you in charge of many things. Come and share your master's happiness. Then the man who had received 1 bag of gold came. Master, he said, I knew that you are a hard man, harvesting where you have not sown and gathering where you have not scattered seed. So I was afraid and went out and hid your gold in the ground. See, here is what belongs to you. His master replied, you wicked and lazy servant. So you knew that I harvest where I have not sown and gather where I have not scattered seed. Well then, you should have put my money on deposit with the bankers so that when I returned I would have received it back with interest. So, take the bag of gold from him and give it to the one who has 10 bags. For whoever has will be given more, and they will have an abundance. Whoever does not have, even what they have will be taken from them. And throw that worthless servant outside into the darkness, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. In today's story, as I mentioned, commonly called the parable of the talents, Jesus said his return will be like a man going away on a journey who called his servants and entrusted his wealth to them. This parable is easily understood, I think, if we focus our attention on 4 key words. So we're going to look at 4 key words as we work through the story this morning. Keyword number 1 is entrust. Entrust. When the owner left, he entrusted his wealth to 3 servants. The NIV, the New International Version, says that he gave them bags of gold. In the Greek text, the master gave each servant an amount of money that was based upon a weight, a unit of measurement called a talent. And the talent that Jesus spoke of would have been equal today to about 75 pounds, U.S. American pounds. So he gave each one a weight of money, 75 pounds worth of money. The Greek text doesn't mention that it was gold. However, verse 18 says that the servant hid his master's silver. So we're not sure, silver or gold, we don't know exactly, but we know that it weighed about 75 pounds. Now, I was curious about the value of this talent or this bag of money, and so I went online last week. Last week, given the price of silver, 75 pounds would be about $104,000 right now, modern money. And the price of gold, at last week's price of gold, a bag of gold weighing 75 pounds would be worth about $7 million. Obviously, there's a lot of difference between silver and gold, right? 104,000, 7 million. So whether you prefer silver or gold, the bottom line is this, that in his master's absence, his property, which was worth a substantial amount of money, his property was entrusted to his 3 servants. And within this word entrust is the word trust. Trust. The master put his trust in 3 servants, and he trusted them that they would carry on his business with his resources while he was away, that they would run things in his absence just like he would run them if he were still present. So he entrusted his wealth to them, and he put his trust in them. I know a little bit about this sort of arrangement from personal experience. So back in the days when we had a cat, and we kind of have a cat again, that's another story, but back when we had a different cat than the one we do now, we would leave on vacation every year, go back to see my wife's family in New Hampshire and be gone for a couple of weeks. And we would entrust the care of the cat to one of our neighbors. And we put, we gave her a key to the house, and we, give her all the resources. We put the cat's care in her care. So you've got cat food, you got a key to the house, you got cat litter, you got everything you need, and just take care of the cat like we would if we were present. And so we have an entrustment, and we have trust. And it's kind of like that in this story. So the master in Jesus' parable entrusts his servants with his wealth, and he's going to be gone for a long time. And the idea is, run things like I would run them if I were present. Carry out my business. And no doubt he felt confident that that's what they would do, that everything would be well taken care of. So entrustment, trust. The second word is empower, verse 14 and 15. And Jesus said, it will be like a man going on a journey who called his servants and entrusted his wealth to them. And here comes the empowerment part. To one he gave 5 bags of gold, to another 2 bags, and to another 1 bag, each according to his ability. And then he went on his journey. He not only trusted them to be about his business, but he gave them the power to carry out his business. He empowered them. So while I am gone, carry out my business, and you're going to need a way to do that, and so I'm empowering you. Here are 5 bags of gold, 2 bags of gold, 1 bag of gold. You have been empowered. You have resources now to do what I would do if I were present. Empowerment. Many times empowerment is a reward, or it's a result of trust. Because I trust you, I'm going to empower you. I think about leaving someone the keys to my car, or giving them a key to the house, or someone working and maybe the employer tells them the combination to the safe, or being given the power of attorney over someone's affairs. These are all forms of empowerment, and that empowerment is rooted in trust. Because I trust you, I'm giving you power over my affairs. I'm giving you resources. And the three servants' empowerment came in the form of this large amount of money that was left in their care. Even if it was silver in those bags combined, they would have had over $830,000. And if it had been gold, wow, over $56 million. That's a lot of empowerment, isn't it? They're empowered, and they're not empowered equally. Verse 15 says that each servant was empowered according to his own ability. So one is given 5 talents or 5 bags, another 2, another 1. But even that guy who received 1 bag, there's still a lot of empowerment there, isn't there? A lot of trust. How would you like to have, $104,000? That's on the cheap side, right? That's still a lot of empowerment. Or how would you like to have a few $1 million, $7 million? That's a lot of empowerment. And each one, because they had some ability, each one possessed everything that they needed to be successful. Even that guy with 1 talent or 1 bag of gold, he had the ability, he had the empowerment and the resources to be successful with what was left to him. The third word is the word expectations. Expectations. Because the master entrusted his possessions to them, his wealth, because he empowered them with everything that they needed to be about his business while he was gone, there were expectations. It's kind of like feeding the cat, right? Just feed the cat, please. When we get back, we want the cat to, well, at least my wife wants the cat to still be alive. And, it kind of goes that way. Expectations, right? He expected them to be about his business while he's gone. And no doubt the guy that received the most probably had higher expectations. The guy that received the least, probably lower expectations. But still, there's the expectation of success. I've empowered you. I've entrusted things into you. And each one according to his ability. You have the ability to be successful. And that's important to remember that. While the master was gone, he expected them to advance his interests in his absence. Keeping this in mind, I cannot help but think about Jesus. And when Jesus left and Jesus empowering us, Acts 1:8 says you will receive power when the Holy Spirit comes upon you. And Jesus entrusting to us this mission. You'll receive power when the Holy Spirit comes on you, and you will be my witnesses in Jerusalem, Judea, Samaria, and to the ends of the earth. And I think about the Great Commission, as we call it, and probably most of us are familiar with that term. If you're not, it's found at the end of Matthew's Gospel. And the Great Commission begins in Matthew 28, verse 18. And Jesus said, "All authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me. Therefore go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit, and teaching them to obey everything I have commanded you. And surely I am with you always to the very end of the age." Just like the master who expected his servants to advance his business in his absence, the same thing is true with the Lord Jesus. He has empowered us. He's entrusted the kingdom to us, the expansion and growth of his kingdom. He's gone away, and he has expectations, right? He expects us to go and make disciples, go into all the world and preach the gospel. And that's very important that we realize we have a responsibility. We have been given a job to do, and the Lord expects us to do it. Very, very important. The last word is the word examine. Examine. When his journey was complete, the master returned in the parable to examine what his servants had done. And upon examination, the master was pleased with the first and second servants. Very pleased with the first servant. Wow, 5 bags of gold I left you, or 5 talents, and you have doubled those, made 5 more. Great job. Enter into your reward, the joy of the master. And the one with the 2 bags, same thing. He examined what he had done. Look, you left me 2 bags. Here are 4 bags. And the master's excited. Great job, good and faithful servant. Enter into your master's happiness. And then we come to the last servant. And when the master examined what the third servant had done, he was very disappointed. Perhaps even angry. We kind of hear a little bit of anger, I think, in his voice. The third servant had nothing to show for his effort because he didn't make any effort. I knew you were a pretty tough guy to deal with. This is the RSV, the Revised Steve version. I knew you were a pretty tough guy to deal with, and so I didn't want to take a chance with anything. I stuck your money in the ground. I buried it. But here it is. Here it is. I've got it for you, and here's your money. And to be honest, I think maybe he even felt kind of good about what he had done. Here's your money. I hid it. Here's all your money. Nothing is missing. I took care of it for you. It's just like it was when you left it. Sometimes I think of Christians and our salvation. Here's my salvation. I haven't done anything with it, but I've guarded it. You know, the world's kind of a tough place. There are a lot of people out there, to deal with and stuff, but I've been really careful and I still believe. And here it is, just like you gave it to me. The master got all of his money back. He wasn't cheated. The guy didn't steal. He didn't lose it. He didn't run off with it. But the problem is he knew exactly what the master expected, and he didn't do it. He didn't even try to do it. And when the day of examination came, he failed the test. He failed. The master said, "You wicked and lazy servant. So you thought you knew me to be a difficult man to work for, and you didn't want anything to happen to my money? You could have at least put it in the bank." And when you're talking about anything from $100,000 to $7 million, even 3 or 4% interest is still pretty good money. You could have put it in the bank and made me a few $1,000s off the interest. You didn't even do that. You just buried it in the dirt and forgot about it. We have to remember that there will be a day in our eternal future when God will examine what we have done in this life. And we will be judged by whether or not we have met God's expectations for us. Did you meet my expectations? What did you do with your life? What did you do with the resources that I put in your care? In your care. God has expectations. It's kind of like when you go to McDonald's. We've probably all gone to McDonald's at least once in our lifetime. When you go to McDonald's and you order something, let's say you go and you order a fish sandwich. That was my wife's favorite thing at McDonald's as a teenager, the fillet of fish. I don't know why, but that's what she liked. So I was a Big Mac guy, but anyway, that's another story, right? So the fillet of fish, you order the fillet of fish, and give me French fries and a Coke with that, and you pay them the $25, and you take that home, and you take that home, and you open up the bag, and out comes the drink, and it's got a little button push there that says diet. Oh, good, they got that right, and there's that nice big French fries, and then you get to the sandwich, it's a hamburger. Are you kidding me? It's a hamburger. I ordered a fillet of fish. And you may eat the hamburger, you may go back to McDonald's or whatever, but probably you're going to complain because what? Your expectations weren't met. There's nothing wrong with a hamburger, maybe for McDonald's, but anyway, there's nothing wrong with a hamburger. None of you work there, do you? But the problem is expectations. It's not what I expected. It's not what I ordered. That's not what should be in the bag. And the Lord has expectations for us. Go into all the world and make disciples. Spread the gospel. Be my witnesses. And we may say, look, I did a great job. Here's my little salvation. I buried it in the dirt. But that's not what he expects us to do. Go out and share the gospel. Love people. As we say around here, connect. Go connect and share God's love, right? Go do that. That's what he expects. And here's the thing. We can make excuses for the guy who didn't do anything, but remember, he was entrusted with that talent according to his ability. He could have been successful, right? He could have at least drawn interest on it. So there's no excuse for his complete failure. The problem was not with his ability. The problem was with his attitude. He had an attitude problem. You could have at least invested in the bank and drawn some interest, but your attitude was wrong, so you buried it in the dirt and you did nothing. And all of this brings us to the point of the parable. What's the point? Here it is. While our Master Jesus Christ is away, we must use our talents, gifts, resources, and abilities to meet his expectations during his earthly absence. And if we fail to do so, it's not because we couldn't, it is because we wouldn't, and we will be judged accordingly. Let me read all that again so you can kind of start thinking about it. While our Master Jesus Christ is away, we must use our talents and gifts and resources and abilities to meet his expectations during his earthly absence. And if we fail to do so, it's not because we couldn't, it's only because we wouldn't, and we'll be judged accordingly. What do you mean it's not because we couldn't? Because he's empowered us. He's given us all something we can do in the kingdom. Even if your something is something really simple, right? You've got something you can do. Just pray for people. That's something, right? Pray for people. Or invite people to church. Or share what Christ is doing in your life. Every one of us can do something, each according to our ability. And that's different, right? But we can all do something. Just do what you can do. So in closing, I want to ask a question as we move to the end of the message today. Think about this. What has God entrusted into your care? We've all been entrusted with something. He hasn't left any of us empty-handed. What's he entrusted into your care? What resources do you have? What has he empowered you with? And corresponding to whatever he's empowered you with, there are expectations. There are expectations, right? Take what you have and do something for me. What has God entrusted into your care? Your kids, perhaps? Or perhaps your house? Maybe your job? Maybe he's entrusted time to you. That's one thing that I'm struggling with, just time. But maybe you've got a lot of time. Maybe you have some talent. Maybe you have a measure of wealth, relatively speaking. What does he put in your hands, in your care? Go out and use whatever he has entrusted to you. Use it to carry out his business while he is away. Because one day he's coming back. He's coming back, and he will examine what we have done. Think about it. It's decision time this morning. In a moment, I'm going to invite you to stand, and we'll have the opportunity to just, come forward if you want to. We'll have folks up here who can pray with you. We'll be glad to do that. Or you can come and pray. Maybe there's that decision that you need to make. Lord, you've put this in my hands. You've trusted me. You've empowered me. You have expectations. Someday you're going to examine what I've done. Wow. I'd better get on the ball. Maybe that's your issue today. Or maybe it's something totally different. Wow, Lord, you love me in spite of my failures. And you have a whole future for me if I will accept it and embrace it. Maybe that's your decision. I don't know where you're at, but every week we have opportunities to draw closer to God, to be changed, to be transformed, to be blessed, touched, healed, ministered to. And if you need that today, don't let it pass you by. Why not? Why not? Seize the day, seize the moment, seize the opportunity. Trust God and let him begin to do for you what he wants to do. Stand with us. We invite you to come as we sing this morning.